Hi and welcome to another session of advanced readings. This is a technique that we use in spiritualism a lot, and it also inspired me when I had the oracle readings through the Nadi oracles, where messages were given to me thousands of years in advance. Mind-boggling stuff. And also, of course, it's used in when you're using clairvoyance by email reading and sometimes by telephone. You know things before the person calls you. So I'm inspired by this technique and I hope it helps you. There could be a message here for you today. So you'll see me working in blue light for this, because this is how the medium can get close to spirit. We often use a red or blue light in my circle, particularly if you're doing physical or trance work. Anyway, hope you enjoy these sessions. Okay, this message is from someone in spirit that talks about fossil hunting. He's collecting fossils. Somebody is collecting fossils. I think he's the one that's interested in it, rather than the person that's receiving this message, but I get this feeling of wanting to collect fossils and having a real interest in ancient times and the ancient earth and things like this. So it's a gentleman that's given me this information. I feel with him, he feels a bit older to me, so again I feel this time I've got a grandfather type link with the recipient of this message. And he had quite light hair, I want to say. I mean, white hair. I feel it would have been noticeably white, right? And I feel with him quite tall build with him as he talks to me here, and quite a fit man, even towards when he got to the latter part of his life, because I feel the fossil hunting's part of his interest in being outdoors, you know, and keeping himself fit and well. So I get the sense that he would have also taken quite an interest in this, actually, and might have even travelled to places abroad to do this. So I'm seeing flashes of the Jurassic coast in England. I'm also seeing doing journeys to mountains and things like that to find fossils high altitudes. And I'm getting this sense of having done Africa and things like that. So he's actually taken more than just a passing interest in this topic. He's taken, you know, I don't think he'd done this professionally for a museum or anything, but I get the feeling that he would have taken a serious interest in this. And he's obviously, because of this, he's very well educated, because I feel someone here that has a lot of interest in these things would be quite thorough with his understanding of these things. And this gentleman is communicating from spirit. He would have been, I wouldn't have said he would have been, he wouldn't have spoken about things like spiritualism much, but I get the feeling that he had a sort of almost like a hidden interest, you know, intrigued, because he's got the mindset of someone that says, you know, we were here for such a long time, you know, as a species. I mean, how did all this happen? You know, and he's got this sort of the idea that, you know, life is not just a pointless message. It goes on. Something else happens. But he couldn't talk about it, because I feel he did, through his work, kind of get to know a lot of people on a kind of a scientific level too. So he's an evolutionist that believed in the spirit world. And the person who's listening to this now and getting this message and has recognized this person will have a kind of not quite as an intense interest to it, but would have an interest nonetheless, because I want to say the person that's receiving this message has a butterfly collection that may have been connected also with this gentleman in spirit, you know. So he's got an educational feel to him, but much more of a closeness to him, a gentleness with the way he talks to us. And so I feel the person that's receiving this message has also been studying, you know, and I feel that they've got a wider interest than just this one area, because I feel a mind that loves the world and is very interested in so many things. It's saying that the person that's receiving the message, you've been getting a lot of headaches, a lot of blinding headaches lately too. Obviously, you know, look after yourself, I'm being told, you know, check things out if things are bad. But I just feel that, it's going to probably be all right. You know, that's the feeling I get. I'm not saying anything serious here, but I just feel I want to look at that. And he's talking about, at the time of watching this, you're eating something. Or you've got something like sweets or crisps or something near you. You've actually just eaten something as you're receiving this message. Okay, just to give a proof of what we're getting here. And he's quite a cheery guy, this fella. I mean, he loved to help children particularly. He loved it if children took an interest in his work. And I feel that the person receiving this message may have encountered this man at a time in childhood when you were quite young, quite susceptible, and he inspired you, right? So I don't think he's a family link to you, and I don't think he's a teacher link exactly, but it gives me a sense that he was someone that would have inspired you to learn about the world. And I feel that's what he's trying to do now from the spirit side, to try to learn about the world that we're in here, in the material world, but also about the greater world as well, the world of spirit, because I feel he is almost like amazed that evolution continues into another plane beyond this life. Okay, so he's given me I get a very inspired feeling with this gentleman, and I hope the message hits the mark and the person this is meant for gets this message, because I feel a lot of love from this man and a person that wants to bring a message of hope. So maybe that message was for you, and if it was, please do leave a comment in the comments below on YouTube so that other people can recognize that this is real. I mean, if you look back at some of the older videos, you'll see that some of the most strange and obscure messages have been taken to the letter, and there's been some interesting stories that have developed once a person has made the comment. So leave a comment, and even if the message isn't for you, it's still a good idea to leave a comment, because this helps spirit to connect with us and maybe get you a message next time. Okay, this next message is for someone who took from someone who's taken their own life. He's calling his name out as Colin, and I'm getting a constriction around my neck as I'm talking here. So I feel this gentleman took his life by strangulation of some sort. So I guess he's hung himself, but he's calling it strangulation rather than hanging. So there's something that's happened that's made him choke, and it's round the neck, and I feel he's took his own life. And he got to reach out to a lady called Alison. Alison's the person I feel I want to reach out to, who was left behind. I feel his name's Colin, or very similar sound to that, Colin, and I feel he's trying to reach out to someone called Alison here. And not to worry, Alison, I'm all right. He's been kind of trying to get through for a long time, I feel, because it happened some while ago now. This isn't recent, this passing. But it seems and feels to the people left behind just like yesterday. And he's so sorry for the grief he's caused the people left behind. That's the feeling he's trying to give me here. Because he says, I had everything going for me when I took my life. It was crazy, because nothing was particularly wrong in his life in terms of his money, and everything like that was all in place. But he used to get these deep depressions, and they were like a clinical depression, I feel, and it would just take him over. And I feel he says he wasn't possessed, but he felt like I was possessed by this darkness of something that came from inside me, he says to me. And eventually he just gave into it, and it was almost like unexpected time when this happened. And I do feel as if it has a lot of connections around the Christmas months too, because I feel he took his life close to the Christmas period, which made things even worse for people, around him, who were left behind, as it were. And it happened at night, he says to me, and I wrote a letter that no one could understand. He wrote a note or something that no one could understand, but he says it was just my mind. Didn't know what I was doing. It was almost like a foreign language he wrote, for some reason, so that might make sense to you, because he says it was like a foreign language, okay? And that's his suicide note, but it's odd, because the police were involved here to check everything out, he's saying here. And but he wants you to know, particularly Alison, there's a number that have been left that know this Colin in the spirit, But it's particularly, I think it's Alison is the name he's trying to say, because who's been really despairing and suffers a lot from depression yourself. And he's saying, life is precious. I wasted mine. Make a new start, he's saying. Make a new start, and things will get better. I feel he wants to predict the world will get better for you. He wants to say it's going to get better. But you've got to take the first steps. You take the first steps, and you'll soon be running, as it were, and life will be back to where it should be. Okay, he's doing that because he's seen you there and he's seen you suffering, and he wants to pass this message on to you today. Okay, next message is from a lady in spirit. She's given me the name, I think it's Joy, she's trying to say to me. But the thing that distinguishes her is she tells me that in the latter part of her life, she'd gone blind. And I get the feeling this blindness came from diabetes. And she's telling me that, so she must have had something like 10 years or so of almost lost sight and then complete loss of sight is what she's telling me here. And she's a comfortable build lady, and joy by name and joy by nature, I want to say as well, because my feeling with her is that she's no matter how bad things got, she's still kept a quite a cheery attitude is the feeling I get from her. And she became quite an example to people. So the person receiving this message will remember her and feel really uplifted to know that she's come through, because you've been asking for a message that she may come through to you and make this connection with you, either through this channel or through spiritualism or something, but you've been calling out for her to make the call. And obviously blind people have dogs, but I feel that she'd always had dogs. She'd always had special dogs, this lady, in her life. So I feel I want to connect here with lots of dogs that have gone to spirit with her, because she gives me this feeling I'm here with all my dogs, as well as the dogs that would have been a training dog to help the blind. But was there a dog called Rex? Does that make sense to the person that's receiving this message? I just heard that name come to me here. And she's saying, the person's receiving this, you've been in two minds about what to do about your job, she says to me. You've been thinking of leaving, then you change your mind and you're thinking of staying. You've been thinking of leaving, thinking of staying. I think she's wanting to say to you to give it a little bit more time until you fully made your mind up before you make the decision. Because you've always been like this, she says, always up and down, never sure what you're going to do next. So before you move, make sure you're absolutely clear in your heart, so that if you make any mistakes, you can't say, oh, I should have stayed, because you've got to make an absolute decision to go. You've got to burn your boats with this one. There's no going back. That's what she says. And she says, eventually, I think you'll do it. This is the feeling. I predict you're going to make that change. And she kind of says, but you've got to have the courage first, she says. But Joy was, like I say, full of joy and full of love, because she gives me this sense of great love extending to you at the moment, and particularly at this present point in time, because I feel that she's telling me there's quite good times around you actually, and that there's quite happy times have been just recently, and you've been reconnecting with people from the distance and the past and family you haven't seen for a long time, and there's this sense of being wanted again. This is the feeling she gives to me. So stay cheerful, be like her, because I feel she wants to say she lost her sight when she was here, but she still kept going, and now she's just showing me this beautiful image of the spirit world, because we have to see the spirit world with our celestial eyes, don't we, if we're going to see it, and we get glimpses of it. But she's just given me these beautiful images of, just as you would imagine the spirit world in a way, of beautiful landscapes and incredible lakes and skies that's vaster than anything you can see on earth. And she says, I can see it all, she says. She says it's beautiful to be able to come here and be able to see again. And she says, so many cried because of my loss of sight, but she says, I didn't mind, I was okay. And she said, but I can see again. And she's saying that, you know, that was of the body, and of her spirit can see with her celestial eyes, like I said. So take that message from her and know that she's safe, know that she's well, and know that she's thinking of you at this point in time. And she just wants to say, it's going to be all right. It's already, you can't believe the fact that things are starting to come together in your life. Trust it, go with it, and when you're ready, make the changes you need to make. But do it with joy in your heart, she says to me. Okay, that's her message to you. So I hope that helped, because it's lovely doing this and giving messages to people out there, and I know some of you get very excited by the messages that you get, so thank you for your feedback. And if you do enjoy watching all this, why not come and get a reading at my website, because I've got a team of readers, you know, that are on there 24/7, and there's lots of special deals there at the moment. For example, in the UK, if you're a new customer, you can use our welcome offer and get 29p a minute for the first 10 minutes, so you can try a reading for very little. Same with the USA, we've got 59 cents per minute for the first 10 minutes on the welcome offer. So thanks for watching my channel. And do come back and follow us. Click that little bell thingy at the bottom of the page there. We do loads of things here, as well as all these readings. We've got my family involved. We've got all sorts of investigations. We've got my mystic talks, so we're inspired. We got lots of readings. You'll see our stuff with the media and all sorts of things. So keep watching, and keep watching now, because coming up will be the playlist of more videos like this one today. So there could be another message there for you today.